The refugee crisis in Europe are reports that hundreds of German women have been raped using an Arabic practice called Taharrush during the New Year's Eve celebrations. German authorities said the phenomenon is responsible for a rash of sexual attacks in many German cities. The ritual is carried out in public and almost always at large public gatherings where the attackers can find safety in numbers and chaos. Even though numerous women have come forward and reported the sexual assaults, authorities say the crimes usually go unpunished because there are multiple perpetrators and the victims are unable to personally identify them. So far, German police have arrested 19 men. All were foreigners. Responding to the public outrage, one female German mayor suggested, quote, "There's always the possibility of keeping certain distance of more than an arm's length. That is to say, to make sure you don't look to be too close to people who are not known to you." Unquote. That response prompted massive demonstrations in Cologne, Germany to end the violent crimes against women by foreign nationals. CW6 first reported the increasing rapes in Germany back in November.
They have another cultural background. They don't accept German law. They think they have their own law, the Sharia.
One of the first known instances of Taharrush reported in Western media came from 60 Minutes reporter Lara Logan. She was sent to cover the Arab Spring in 2011 when she was attacked and raped in Egypt's Tahrir Square.
Our camera battery went down. And we had to stop for a moment, and suddenly Baho looks at me and says, "We've got to get out of here." I thought, not only am I going to die here, but it's going to be just a torturous death that's going to go on forever and ever and ever.
Wow. Okay, Kimberly Dvorak joins me now with more on these developments. Something, as you said in the package, we've been following since November, obviously still an ongoing issue. Where do things stand now?
Well, we're seeing a lot of different countries, really start taking this seriously after the massive attacks that happened over the New Year's Eve celebrations in Germany, where we thought at first there were hundreds of reports of this, but now we're learning there have actually been thousands of reports of this. And what it's led to are countries in the EU, which normally have open borders between one another. They're breaking what's called a Schengen Accord, and that is that they're starting to protect their own borders, and they're trying to keep some of these refugees from fleeing perhaps prosecution by the German government to other nearby nations. And they're looking at women saying, we have to protect our women in this country.
Absolutely. And so what can we do to make a difference?
Well, I think that, what we're seeing from our European counterparts, they would like to see this be out in the American media a lot more. We're not covering it here in the United States, and I think that, when you're bringing in millions of refugees in wars that the United States is participating in, they're looking at us saying, okay, look, we need help, and we need you to recognize that the dangers aren't just for trying to feed and house these refugees that are fleeing the war zones, but they actually do come from different cultures, and they do represent a different religious background than they're normally used to. And certain issues like this, a lot of times women's rights there, in the Middle East, they just don't have the same rights you and I have here. They have honor killings, they have, stonings, and to, get a crime of rape, you have to have 3 people witness it, and one's got to be your brother. So what they're trying to do is try to educate the refugees as well, saying, look, that may be what it was like when you came from your country. Here we live by Western values, and Western values would protect women. So getting the word out, I think, is what they're looking for on this one.
Very important to do so, and very sad to see that ongoing out there, and hopefully things will change here shortly. Yeah. Thank you so much for that insight. I'm sure this is something, hopefully we'll have some better news down the road.
Hopefully, yes.
All right, thanks,
Great,
Kimberly.
thank you.